everybody. So it's a new year. Happy New Year. I want to talk about the Czech Republic, where I currently am and where my beloved fiance is from. And so here we are. Five fun facts about the Czech Republic. So, one, it's like the dead center of Europe, kind of, because it's like East meets West, because it is the westernmost Slavic country. So the Slavs, have like Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, it's like East Slavic. Then South Slavic, you got like, Serbian and Bulgarian and Romanian, um, although there's a Latin influence in the language, a strong Latin influence, but still. Well, it's basically a Latin language with a bunch of Slavic vocabulary, apparently. But anyway, still Slavic country, and blah blah blah. But then the Western Slavic countries, Slovakia, Czech Republic, which were Czechoslovakia until like what, the 90s, and Poland. They're like the West Slavic, but Czech Republic's the westernmost, and it's just tucked in there, just next to Germany, kind of like, so back when Germany was split, East and West Germany, the Czech Republic was the only country that shared a land border with both, you know. So you'd be like, let's go to Germany. Which one? Haha, Um, and yeah, so kind of just Germany's northwest from Czech Republic, and so it's right in the middle of Europe there, but and it's strongly connected to Western Europe through like, basically it used to be it was the Kingdom of Bohemia became the Czech Republic. It was called Bohemia until like 100 years ago, and then with the fall of the Austro-Hungarian Empire at the end of World War One, all these countries were divided up, and thus was born Czechoslovakia. Um, but then Bohemia wasn't used anymore, although you can use it to refer to the biggest part within the Czech Republic. But anyway, but back in the day, the Kingdom of Bohemia, think the royals of them married into, um, you know, well, basically, long story short, they became the emperor, the king of Bohemia became the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, which is basically Germany, like the First Reich of Germany. They had part of northern Italy. It used to have a lot of Italy back in the day, but basically bit of Italy and all of Germany. But it's this huge medieval empire, um, and it's called the Holy Roman Empire. And for a long time, like basically the capital was moved to Prague, and so the Czech Republic was the heart of the empire, and so it was very, Western European traditions were, kind of mingled with this Slavic culture, created this kind of melting pot thing. Um, and yeah, it was a very wealthy, successful, beautiful, prosperous part of Europe. Um, and so that's cool. Even now it's like part of the European Union, but it was one of the Warsaw Pact countries. But had a pretty rough time. The other Warsaw Pact countries invaded it when it was kind of perceived. I don't know the exact details. I need to learn, but basically getting a bit too free, it seems, and so the others, kind of attacked it. Um, but it is this kind of, and then, after the fall of communism, it's been kind of developing more on a democratic capitalist model again. But it's just very interesting uh, place, I think, that kind of East meets West, so it's like Central Europe, like dead on, and it's just very beautiful. It's very nice. I suggest you visit. Two, okay, Protestantism kind of began here. Like, the Bohemian Reformation was like, began at least 100 years before the what's usually called like the Reformation of the Western Church, where they're like, oh, the Catholic Church, they're all out of control. They've all got like a bunch of concubines and wives and, armies, and they like kill people and they have these huge palaces. What's going on here? Is this like some mafia running the religion? Um, their words, not mine. And But yeah, so the Bohemian Reformation starting in the Czech Republic with like Jan Hus. like John Huss, the Hussites. Um, I don't know if he was the starter of it or if he was just the major figure, but yeah, he so there was this big movement about kind of getting to the roots of practicing the real teachings of Jesus, and all about emphasizing the connection between the individual and God, and kind of not just having this lavish priesthood with all this wealth and power, but kind of more you know pr back to the roots kind of thing. So and that had all this crazy history and caused a bunch of persecution here. Um, but had a big influence on Protestantism around the world, and which of course Christianity is not perfect, has a lot of problems, and but I think pretty good, pretty good philosophy. Love thy neighbor. If you actually follow the words of Jesus, it's pretty good. Basically, like Buddhism. It's like, yeah, we're all one. Don't hurt people. If you can avoid it, love thy neighbor and love thine enemy. Um, so I think that's a pretty cool thing that they had this big influence here. Okay, so three. What do we got? Spa towns. It seems, I'm not sure, but it seems like the whole thing of mineral spas, like bathing in and even drinking, which I was doing yesterday. The mineral water from the natural springs, which of course it's very good for you. We now know like people take Epsom salt baths, athletes do, etc. To you can allow your if you have more magnesium in your system, I think there's certain things like it's good for the muscles, but there's also things where it boosts your liver's ability to detox if you've got more of some of these salts or whatever. So that's why Epsom salts like they'll also help you if you're sick. They'll help you detox. They help your liver kind of flush stuff out faster. Um, so it seems like in Bohemia, in up here in the kind of the north here, there's these natural springs, and it seems from early on, like 1200 or something AD, that people, the kind of elites, started to figure out like, oh, there seems to be some benefit here, and so we're in Teplitsa here, and this is a was called Little Paris, like back in the day, and was like everyone would go here to go take the waters and go to this. There's another one we're just at, Karlovy Vary or Carlsbad, as it used to be called. Really beautiful place. But yeah, so there's all these spas, and would go in for their health. But basically, I think it's kind of like all these probably malnourished medieval and early modern people were just like getting salt, getting enough minerals, trace minerals, like getting their selenium levels up and stuff, probably, and just, I feel great. Of course you do. Nowadays we have multivitamins, but anyway, um, so that's pretty cool. That began here, it seems. I'm sure there's probably other places around the world doing it, but in Europe, it seems like that was like where the culture began, maybe. All right, three. Um, Bohemianism, like being a Bohemian. So, like an alternative lifestyle, like, yeah, kind of cultured and sophisticated, artsy, or you're into art and stuff, but not necessarily caring about like money and prestige and power and the usual basic trajectory of like an animal, you know, kind of the more animal level of humans. Like, oh yeah, I just want, develop a strong foundation and kind of gain wealth and, opportunities, and there's a beautiful way to do that also, of course. Um, and I would advocate really marrying that, like having a combination of that and a more enlightened, artful existence, the balance between them. In most cases, I think that's the best recipe. But anyway, Bohemians, often like shunning, all that stuff just for having this alternative lifestyle. So, a Bohemian, it sounds cool and whatever, but it seems that so that came from it seems the French, the term bohème or bohème, la bohème, I don't know, je ne sais pas. But they were apparently ref the French use that term for like these kinds of people, 18th, 19th and 20th centuries who were like kind of, being a bohemian, right? Um, and because it seems like that was a word they used for the Romani, the Roma, gypsies. And so started using it for these other people. Why were they using that for the Roma? It seems because they seem to have migrated into France from Bohemia, the Kingdom of Bohemia, in like the 15th century. So like, you can trace that but that term, Bohemians. So it's just an interesting thing that that kind of traces back. Now, I don't know if this is involved at all. That's just what I read on Wikipedia. Who knows if that's true? This is something where, anything controversial, Wikipedia is probably going to lie to you. But for that dollar bills, whoever's paying the bills. Um, but in this case, I'd probably trust it. But then again, Bohemia was also, the Kingdom of Bohemia was renowned for art and culture and, kind of more esoteric pursuits and development among the elite. So I wonder if that also has an influence there. Like, Rudolph II was, doing all these magical and scientific alchemical experiments and stuff back in the day. So I'm not sure if that's connected to the where this idea of like a sophisticated kind of a bit, oddball, not going the normal path thing came from. Who knows? Anyway, final thing, drum roll. It's where the dollar comes from, the Czech Republic, Bohemia. So dollar, like you have the Singapore dollar, the Zimbabwe dollar, the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, whatever. Of course, the US dollar, Canadian dollar. The US dollar, so that was inspired by the Spanish dollar before it, which was like a piece of eight, like this silver coin. And that in turn was based on, I think, possibly because the Habsburgs ruled Spain and they also ruled the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and which included Bohemia. So basically, there's a town called Joachim. Oh my God, I need some help here. Yachidom or something, Yachidim, and it used to be called Joachimsthal, and they started minting silver coins back in the Holy Roman Empire when Prague, Bohemia was the heart or part of the Holy Roman Empire, and then eventually, Prague became the capital. But and so they started minting these silver coins there, and it was called Joachimsthaler. So they just and then it was abbreviated like so they put on the end of Joachimsthal, the town, Joachimsthaler. That became Thaler, right? And then that became dollar. So let's just quickly look up here for so uh, where is the uh, okay, so Joachimsthal, yeah, former name of Yachimov, yeah, Yachimov, that's it. So there you go. That the dollar comes from the Czech Republic. Who knew? So all right, everyone. See you next week. God bless. Enjoy.